you're big, even philosophically on just being a protector. I mean, that's kind of I think you do some de-escalation stuff, with police, and you've taught some of those things, if I'm getting that right. In society right now, I think what I'm seeing, you're seeing it too. I think people are becoming more and more shy to intervene, to become protectors. Why do you think, I guess, now, even compared to 50 years ago, when I think, if I can say this right, maybe men were more willing to stand up? I feel like now we have a tiny part of the population that's served in the military. We have a lot of people who don't know what it's like to serve other people. We're a very selfish, self-consumed society. But what do you think is the reason why we're not seeing, when things happen, in cities, or someone's on the subway or someone's in an alley, like, why are people so hesitant now to stand up?
Well, I tend to look at these kinds of this is a big question.
I know, I know. Try to consolidate it if you can. I
Yeah.
know.
It has, I think, a big answer, which is that all of these everything is connected
Yeah.
in these various ways. The takeaway, I think, is this. There's lots of reasons not to stand up and protect people when they need to be protected, which is when they can't protect themselves. There's 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 lots of reasons not to do that.
Mhm.
But the reason to do that outweighs all of that.
Okay.
And when you get someone with three components, I've been sort of harping on this of late, because I think it's these three components that basically make up, at least in from like kind of from a martial perspective, they're very, very important. Clarity,
Okay.
competence, and courage.
Okay.
To me, those three aspects are really preeminent. They're kind of the core values of, if you were going to look at a triangle of empowerment or something like that. You need clarity to know why you ought to be doing something.
Mhm.
You need competence to know that you can achieve what you're about to set out to achieve.
Right.
And most importantly, you need courage. You need the courage of your clarity
Mhm.
and the courage of your competency in order to step up and say, yes, I'm going to deal with this.
Yeah.
I think I I would say over the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of problems
Mhm.
in just dealing with the United States.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of issues
Mhm.
with the country and a lot of bad actors, people misbehaving.
Mhm.
And the biggest concern that I think, or at least one of the biggest concerns, is that I've seen the breakdown of the rule of law
Mhm.
in a lot of different ways. And one of the worst ways is that when people break the law, they're not held accountable for it.
Right.
And when there's no accountability for that, when people feel like there's no justice,
Mhm.
people step back. They step back, they huddle up with the people who are closest to them, and they say to each other, keep your head down.
Mm.
And I think that's what happens. And it's not always like, when you hear these things, it doesn't always make national news.
Mm.
Sometimes it does, like this case in New York where the guy choked out that guy on the subway.
Daniel Penny, Marine.
And
Yeah.
right. And where is that going to go?
Right. We don't
Did
know.
he deserve to be prosecuted or not?
Mhm.
There are other things that you see more online where videos hit and people make a claim. There was a big stabbing thing in a river a while back. I think it was somewhere in like Minnesota, or I can't remember exactly where. And uh, a bunch of people rushed to defend this guy who had been getting pushed around by some teenagers and pulled out a knife and started stabbing them. And at least one of them died.
Mhm.
And when I saw the video, And I'm reading the comments like, this man defended himself. I took one look at that video and said, this guy is going to jail.
Mhm.
I knew instantly that like this was so there's lots of different reasons that people have
Mm.
for not standing up. But you only need one good reason to do it.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you have to listen to your gut. You've got to think to yourself like, is this really going to do what I think it's going to do? Or am I going to make this worse?
Mhm.
And this is where the training comes in.